Hi guys, it's Blank here. I hope you're having a great day, and in today's video I wanted to talk about the generals of Exos heroes as well as Signature Force. These two pretty much go hand in hand, and they play a very major part in how you're going to be building your teams and units in Exos heroes. So let's get started. First of all, let's go to Journal over here. So generals are basically special fated units. What makes them special, you ask? Well, for one, they have shinier stars compared to your regular fated units, as you can see. So these 7 units, Garf, Rachel, Bathory, Shafraken, Janai, Dorka, and Schmidt, are the current generals in the game. Once Season 3 drops, I believe they are going to add a new general, so someone's going to push Wedley down. But for now, let's talk about the current generals in the game. So another thing that makes them special is each one of these generals has a unique passive, and that passive can either buff your whole team or debuff the entire enemy team. Let's use Garf as an example here. So Garf is going to have the unique passive Command. So what this basically says is when Garf is on your team and the other units in that team has less HP than him, they're going to get the command mark, and it will give them 20% more HP and defense. So make sure you're paying close attention to these conditions, because when I first started the game, I was lucky enough to get a Bathory, which is another general. So Bathory has the unique passive Tranquil, and she grants allies with less attack than self with the Tranquil buff and protects them from death. Basically, when a unit dies and they have the Tranquil buff, they will automatically resurrect. And when I first started the game, I had these other units that had higher attack than Bathory, and I was wondering why when they died they weren't resurrecting. It's because I wasn't paying attention to these conditions. So make sure you're paying close attention when you're trying to take advantage of these unique passives. So another thing that makes generals special is Signature Force. Basically what Signature Force is, you can use duplicate copies of the general in order to buff certain heroes in that nation. So in order to unlock Signature Force, you do need a base copy of the general, and then let me show you guys a base copy of the general, so that's going to be 1, and then you need to transcend them, so you need another copy of the general, and you're going to transcend them, and this blue number right here, it's going to represent how many dupes have you poured into that general. So for example, Dorka, I've already fed another copy of Dorka into her, so that's going to unlock the first, well, it's not going to unlock it actually, it's going to take another copy, so it's going to be a total of 3 copies. So the third copy is going to go in here. So one base copy, 1 copy for transcending Dorka, and then a third copy that's going to be put in here, and you're going to gain this buff. And further copies, you're just going to need 1 copy of Dorka fed into here, and then you're going to gain this buff, and then another copy of Dorka right here like that, and you can click enhance. I'm going to do that later. And then another one here. So this is the first stage of Signature Force. For the second stage, gotta be careful. This image is pretty NSFW, so you can get the full image in high res in Exos Heroes Discord, if you're interested. But for level 2 onwards, you're going to need another transcend on Dorka, so she needs to be +2 on the blue number before you can feed further Dorkas into her Signature Force. And like I said, it's going to buff your heroes, and it's a pretty strong buff. So make sure you want multiple copies, multiple duplicates of your general. So Now you might be wondering how you're going to know which units go into which nation, especially because Signature Force is not really built like, you know, the lore in the game. Like Rachel, for example, he's the Prince of Saint West, but Line Games or Uzu decided that he's going to be the General of Lenombe, which doesn't really make sense to me, but it is what it is, right? So let me show you guys how you're going to figure that out. So you can go here to manage heroes, and on the top part there's going to be a filter button, and you can go to normal, and right here are going to be your Signature Force nation. So it's going to filter them by Signature Force nation, not by, like, you know, lore wise in-game nation. So let's click Lenombe here. As you can see, Rachel is right here. He's the general for this nation, and his Signature Force is going to buff all of these other heroes. So as you can see, I mean, Baraka is from Wasted Red, but apparently he's under Lenombe. Bernavas is another one from Saint West, but he's also under Lenombe. So you're gonna want to pay attention to what heroes you have and what generals you have before building your team, as it's a very important part, you know. So now that we've talked about how important general duplicates are, let me show you guys how to get more of them. As when Signature Force first came out, people were very pissed because the only way to get generals was through doing multiples, and their rates were very, very low. Like compared to other units, they were very low. Let me show you guys over here. So as you can see, these are the generals. They have a 0.0279 compared to other faded like Redley. It's going to be 0.557, and then, you know, further down there's even higher rates. So when you pull a faded, it's most likely going to be one of these other ones rather than a general. So people were pretty pissed, especially when you needed multiple copies of the general. But since then, you know, Line Games and Uzu has, you know, provided other ways of obtaining general. So one of the ways is whenever a core raid, or basically this is the event in the game, it's called a core raid. In the core raid shop, they've added general fragments that you can buy. So let me show you guys. Oh, we're lucky enough to have a Garf general shard right here. So you're going to want to save your levy stones, and, you know, you're gonna want to buy out all the shards, because so 50 of these is going to make one general, and, you know, you're going to be refreshing, you know, using this and trying to get more shards. Oh, there's a battery here. So I'm gonna need to you know, fight these bosses and get more tokens so I can buy battery. So that is one of the ways. Another way is going to the shops right here, Haywon's old store. So as you can see, these medals, they're gained from doing PvP. This is why it's important that you try and do your PvP. You don't have to do it, you know, you can just go in and quit, and, you know, you're still going to get a lot of medals. For quitting, I believe you get 16. If you win, it's 20 medals. So you can do that, right? I mean, these are, you know, very important shards. Another way is going here to, this is for the embodiment of avarice. So when you're doing that, you're going to be getting these beads, and you're going to be able to buy further general shards. Let's see here. If you're a spender, you can buy the premium pass, and you're going to be able to get a special faded hero selection, which basically means the generals. That's basically a general selector ticket. This is why I mentioned in my previous video, this is a very, very good value, because you get to select a general. Another way is the cumulated purchase event. This is for whales. Like, you need to spend basically $270 and you'll get a general selector ticket, because you need 30 to buy 30,000 of these blue crystals, which you can only buy with real money. Another way is through recruitment. So throughout the game, you know, the game is going to be giving you nation recruitment tickets right here. So these nation recruitment tickets, basically they're, you know, tied to a certain nation. So you want to save up 150 of these so you can get a general selector ticket. You choose, you know, the nation that the general that you want, and you summon on it, and hopefully, you know, you get more copies of that general. And once you do 150, you can get a selector, and if you go even further, you know, you can get another selector. I believe it goes up to 300, well, maybe more. Let's see, 390. So first is 150, then 270, 390. It does reset, so, you know, make sure you're paying attention to that. And that is pretty much all the other ways that you can get generals. So I hope this video helped you better understand generals and signature force and why they're so important. Another thing I wanted to talk about real quick was, once season 3 hits, we're going to be given a Gold Fatecores selector ticket, and I wanted to give you guys a recommendation of who to pick for that. Obviously enough, since this video is about generals, I'm going to be recommending the generals with Fatecores. So for example, you have Janai over here. This is her golden Fatecore. You know, let's see here, there's no general over there. Awakening, you know, we have Shufraken, and this is Rachel. So these are going to be my top recommendations of what you should choose with that ticket, because like I said, generals are very, very important. And these two, they're supposedly going to get a core memory update. So if you're not familiar with core memory, it further buffs Fatecores, and right now the Awakening theme, it doesn't have a core memory. So Rachel and Shufraken, they're expected to have a Fatecore banner when their core memory drops. So if you're interested in going through North Von Frosty or Lenome as your main signature force, and, you know, build a team around them, you know, that's going to be easier for you since you're going to be able to pull on their banners. That's just a guess though. I mean, you know, it's not confirmed. Another thing, you know, the most popular general right now, Bathory, of course. She's pretty insane. She does insane damage, and like I said, she can resurrect your unit when they die. This is Garf, by the way. This is old man Garf. He turns into a lovely young lady. But this is his Fatecore, you know. And yeah, so those are going to be my recommendations of what you should pick with that gold selector ticket. Of course, there are other gold Fatecores that are very, very strong, even though they're not a general. One of them is Tantalo. A lot of people hate this guy because his kit is fully loaded. Like, we are talking about crazy loaded. So we have, you know, provoke and heal over time, and he can reduce all allies damage by 15%, and he also has this dragon buff, heart strike. He has overpower. He has this damage immunity, which is really, really annoying in PvP. You cannot remove this until you attack that enemy, and that's the only time it gets removed. Other than that, he also has a increased block and increased attack, and he also has a decreased attack, and he has poison damage over time. So it's crazy. Like, this guy has a crazy kit, and I'm gonna tell you right now that a lot of people that have the Greenland signature force is going to get him, especially if they don't have him. So that is basically it, you know. Thank you guys for watching again. I will see you guys in the next video. Later. Hey guys, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention the quickest way to get a general, and that is through Eternal Bond. So basically what this is that every 30 days the game gives us a choice from 2 generals, and all you have to do is choose one, and you just need to log in for 30 days straight and you will get the general. That's just how easy it is. Along the way you're also gonna get a ton of goodies, so yeah, make sure to do this. Okay, see ya.